Everybody, Austen Lane, ESPN 690, Action Sports Jax, joined by a guy who's going to be featured in the main event tonight, taking on MJF, and really kind of a farewell, if you will, to Daly's place in Jacksonville. He's going to put an exclamation point on it. Sammy Guevara, man, what's going on?
What's up, man? That's right, Mr. Main Event right here. This will be my 14th main event on Dynamite. Main event 2 pay-per-views for AEW. It's going to be a big night. Not only because it's myself versus MJF, but it's 2 of the young guys going at it on a show with many, many stars, and we're the ones main eventing it. So it's going to be a big deal.
Well, and like you said, I mean, this is quite the farewell, if you will, to Daly's place. Not to say you guys won't come back eventually, but this is kind of the farewell to it. We're about 9 hours away from the main event, give or take. What are you feeling right now, and how are you feeling about it?
Man, I'm feeling excited, man. The pressure is definitely on. I haven't had a singles match since January. The last singles match I had on Dynamite was last August. And so for myself, man, I'm always walking around with a chip on my shoulder. And so tonight I feel I have something to prove, and I intend to prove it.
It almost comes full circle a little bit, because I was there in Las Vegas, obviously, when you debuted to open up, AEW Double or Nothing. Then obviously you wrestle Cody on the premiere of AEW Dynamite, and that was the first match. And now you're kind of closing out really the pandemic era, if you will, here at Daly's place tonight. Like, when you look back on it, when you reflect, what match means the most to you? Is it this one coming up? Is it the one with Cody, or the one with Kip Sabian to open up really AEW in general?
Man, I can't say a specific means more than the other. That there's a lot of them that hold a very special place in my heart. The one versus Kip in the MGM Grand in Vegas, my girlfriend was there. That was the first time she got to see me perform in such a venue like that. It didn't go my way, but it's okay. The episode of Dynamite, which was the first time wrestling was on TNT in 19 years. That's a special one. Being able to work with guys I watched while growing up, such as Matt Hardy, Dustin Rhodes, and a lot of other guys, those all hold special places in my heart, man. This one tonight is definitely going to be a special one, like I just said, because, this isn't 2 wrestlers from another place. These are 2 basically homegrown guys here in AEW, and we are in the main event, and we're going to kill it.
Well, and the cool thing with you and MJF is it's such a contrast of styles and a contrast of personalities. If you do have one thing in common, it's almost like you're both descendants of Chris Jericho, if you will. And you start out as a guy who came out with the panda head and everything, and then you obviously graduated to the inner circle, and then really kind of became Chris Jericho's right-hand man. What has working with him been like? What has that experience with the inner circle done for your career, obviously? And just what have you learned from Chris Jericho?
Oh man, there's so much I've learned from Chris. It's really a lot of small things that you don't think of, but this guy, he's been doing this longer than I've been alive. So, I'll say it to no end. Chris Jericho is a freaking genius. And, there's so much he's taught me behind the scenes, during matches, live in front of crowds. He's teaching me, man. I feel like it's I've been in a very blessed spot since the get-go of Dynamite. I often think, where would I be if I wasn't in the inner circle, if I didn't start off in the inner circle? But luckily, we'll never have to actually know that answer, So I just count my blessings and keep trying to kill it every opportunity they give me. So then people won't be like, why is Sammy in the inner circle? I want them to be like, yeah, this guy definitely belongs in this group because he's a badass. And so I feel like I did that at Double or Nothing. I intend to do that tonight as well.
The cool thing about you, too, that I've really enjoyed following your career so far in AEW is, you've had these special moments that have occurred outside the ring that have become, memeable or GIF kind of moments. You take the spot with the golf cart on steroids, basically, that giant cart thing. I remember you sing on the microphone to Judas when there wasn't really any crowd and you're doing your own thing there. When you had the cue cards, you're, making out with Brandy and her reaction. Great job getting those genuine and those great memeable moments. Do those just come from your brain? I mean, are other people advising you on that? Where does that come from, and how proud are you of those moments?
Man, I'm super proud of them because that's something that definitely comes from my brain. And it to me, like I said, every opportunity they're going to give me, I want to make the most out of it. And even if they gave me 10 seconds in a battle royale, which that was another moment. I took Matt Jackson's super kick and tried to make it the nastiest one possible.
Almost looked like that was nasty.
Yeah. Almost broke my leg in the process. But I'm willing to do it all, man. And so those are moments I'm extremely proud of, because those are not like a machine built moment. Those are not, no one else made those moments other than the guy in the ring, that being me. And so I tried to prove every time I got out there, because, I didn't get a lot of opportunities to wrestle in the beginning. And then, so every time I got an opportunity just to do something small, rather I'm singing on the microphone, I'm going to show you Sammy Guevara belongs here. No matter where I am on the card, I'm in the first match, I'm in the last match, I'm in the middle, I'm not even on the card. But you go and put a camera on my face, it's going to be a moment.
And that's awesome. And another moment I want to talk about too, and obviously, like, if you look at your skill set, you have to be an adrenaline junkie. I mean, you do a 630 for crying out loud. Like, there has to be some sort of adrenaline involved with that and some sort of nervousness. But when it was the Stadium Stampede 2 and you guys made your entrance and you're essentially rappelling down a stadium, like, on the moments of, man, I'm a little nervous, I'm not sure how this is going to go, where were you on that, rappelling down the Jaguar Stadium, if you will?
So leading up to it, I feel like all of us in the inner circle were nervous. But then, then it got time, like, all right, well, we're almost at the time where we're going to jump. I basically went carefree. It's like, I know I'm not backing out, and I know none of these guys are backing out. So I'm not going to be the first one to back out. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen. It's just destined. It's written in the stars. And so I was just hoping for the best, try to make the most out of it, because I don't know how many more times in life I'll get the opportunity to rappel off a scoreboard. So I tried to just be in the moment and live in it,
Yeah. The cool thing about AEW is that, they're kind of selectly with their groups. Like, you can relate to certain amount of groups. Like, for instance, you got Darby Allin. Like, skateboarders can relate to him. He's kind of the eye of skateboarding. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega in the past, they've incorporated video games a little bit. You're a big anime dude, specifically Dragon Ball Z. And I know you've done a couple things here or there. And I know Kenny Omega's done some anime stuff as well in the ring. But, like, would you ever want to be like the anime guy? Like, would you want to kind of bridge those paths a little bit in AEW and anime? Because there's definitely is a fan base that is into both. Could you be that guy?
Personally, I don't think I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I definitely love Dragon Ball Z. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. But much like the vlog, I try not to incorporate these outside things. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm a purist when it comes to wrestling. That might surprise a lot of people with my style. But I just want to go in there and I want to go. I don't want to do all this Hollywood stuff. I don't want to do all this promo stuff. I'll do it. I can talk I can talk better than most people think. But at the end of the day, I just love to wrestle and I love to get in there and I love to perform. So I don't want to be labeled or put in this box of just the anime guy. Yeah. Now, occasionally, a special entrance, maybe I'll bust out some kind of special gear or something like that one day. But to make it a full-time thing, definitely not.
And when we talk about, I've had MJF on here a couple of times, and we always.
I'm so sorry.
Well, to be fair, he's called me an asshole twice, and you haven't yet, so I already like you a lot better. But he's a very young, up-and-coming competitor, and we always talk about that, how he's the prodigy. I mean, in your own right, you're only 27 years old, and obviously you paid your dues, you put the time in, but you're still young, all things considered. Do you have time to reflect back on your career and see like how far you've come? Like, do you ever take a time just to kind of stop and smell the flowers a little bit? Or are you kind of on to the next thing? What can I do next? And if you do that, like, how do you balance everything?
It's a little of both. I mean, there's times like after the first match I had on Dynamite, I didn't really soak it in. I was more like, all right, what's next? Like, all right, we got this, but this week is gonna pass, and what's gonna be next week? And there's been several moments where I'm just like, okay, where are we going next? Like, I always want to be going up. I never want to go backwards. It's always got to go up. And so, but there's times every now and then, like for instance, after this match tonight, what I want to do, don't know if I'm gonna be able to, but what I want to do is I want to be able to take a trip to a Whataburger that's nearby, just because I used to work at one, man. I used to work at one for almost 2 years when I was early on in my career. Had little to no money in the bank, would work on the weekdays, rest on the weekends, anywhere I could get booked. Sometimes, no one would book me. And so just like a little nostalgia thing for myself, I want to go back. It's kind of to where it all started, which is just me working at Whataburger and trying to live my dream.
Well, and you mentioned Whataburger, and obviously Jacksonville's been featured in a couple of your videos and your vlogs and everything. So it's cool, they get shout out to they're a good way or a bad thing, because Jacksonville is a very diverse, eclectic city. When you put it all up, you wrap it all up now, and obviously you guys are leaving Daly's place. You're going to go on to bigger crowds now, and like I said, the COVID era is kind of behind us. What is going to be some of the biggest memories of Jacksonville for you? And then going forward now, how excited are you to get back to those crowds and hear, just that reception that you're about to get?
It's going to be a big adjustment, man, because I feel like everybody, once you're at a place for so long, you kind of get used to it. And I'm definitely used to Daly's place. I know the arena like the back of my hand. I know where everything's at around here. I know the great stores to go to. I know all the staff pretty much. So it's going to be an adjustment for sure. But I am excited for live crowds. For instance, on Saturday Night Dynamite last week, I don't know how many people were there, but man, that Sammy chant was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember I was about to talk on the mic and I'm like, yo, I forgot what this feels like. Because, even though Double or Nothing was like a month ago, but it's like, man, that's a month of no crowd. And then here we go again. And hopefully we got a good turnout tonight. I'm excited, man. I'll miss having 10 days off. That's for sure. Every other week on and off, but it'll be an adjustment. I'll get used to it. Back to the bumps, back to work.
Right on. I got a few more questions for you. So obviously you and MJF have gone back and forth on Dynamite. You've gone back and forth on social media, and it's gotten pretty personal, and I think he's come out and said, essentially that you're a dime a dozen. We've seen guys like you before. Now, I don't agree with that. I think you're unique. I think you have the charisma, but obviously you have the in-ring work as well. What are your thoughts about MJF in general? What he brings to the business? Some of the things that he said about you, some of the things on, Twitter and all that stuff. What are your thoughts overall?
Man, I don't have too many thoughts of Mr. MJF. I've seen him on different channels. To me, he has the change the channel heat. If I saw him on my TV screen babbling off that I'm the best when he's done nothing to prove it, nothing to earn it, he does nothing in the ring that interests me. My style of wrestling, and I'm a purist at the end of the day. I love all the greats. I love Eddie. I love Chris Benoit. I love Chris Jericho. There's so many guys that I watched growing up, and this dude does nothing cool. All he does is get on his stupid little microphone. I'm better than you, and you know it. People love to put us promo over. They say, oh, he's one of the best promos in the business. Really listen to what he says. It's a whole lot of nothing. It's like 5 minutes of nothing. And to me, I love to just go all killer, no filler. And this guy's all filler, no killer. He's had maybe one good match in his entire run in AEW, and that's with Jungle Boy, because Jungle Boy's a star. So tonight he might have his second good match, but let's be honest, that's going to be because of me.
One final question, and obviously once again he's alluded to, you're inside the box, you're a dime a dozen, yada yada yada. Obviously, I don't agree with that. But when we talk about, the closing chapter of Sammy Guevara, and let's be honest, that's going to be a long ways away. We
got like 2-3 years, maybe.
Yeah, plenty of time. But when you look back on, what do you want to be remembered more for? Because you say you're a purist. So do you want to be remembered more for the in-ring work? Do you want to be remembered more for being an entertainer? And I guess, what does professional wrestling mean to you in a day where it is so hard to put it in a box, because there are so many examples of professional wrestling?
Man, so like MJF, for instance, wrestling, there's so much for everybody, To me, I would put MJF, and he's like the Hollywood type of wrestling. He's this stuff you can watch on a Monday night or a Friday night. He's one of these guys, To me, what I want AEW to be is, I want it to be this some of the best wrestling, some of the best stories, all killer, no filler. For Sammy Guevara, though, at the end of the day, whatever, if people want to like me or hate me, I just want people to remember me as just a kid who tried and gave it his all and did it. I've always said I wanted to be a professional wrestler. I didn't want to be nothing else. I didn't want to be an actor like MJF. I didn't want to be an actor growing up. I just wanted to be a professional wrestler. And I'm not going to use this platform to go into some other stuff. I'm just going to be a professional wrestler, and I'm going to be here forever. I don't know if he can say the same thing, but I'm going to be here forever. And if there's any kids out there, I did it, and there's no reason you can't do it too.
Sammy Guevara, all killer, no filler, man. I appreciate it. Best of luck tonight. Looking forward to watching you in AEW Dynamite. And we'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, brother. I'm going to slap MJF for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.